Hello, I'm Bureaucratic, aka Biro for short. One would be my brother's taste in music. When I was in high school, he was a huge fan, and even before then, but really when I was in high school and he was finishing up high school and going into college, he was really into a decent amount of like underground hip hop. I really got into People Under the Stairs, were kind of like my first sort of conduit into that world, and from there I really spread a little bit into like actually almost like lounge music before I kind of came back to like jazzier hip hop, like Nujabe is like a huge deal. The other would be, humorously enough, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. That soundtrack to that video game was really important. Like just driving around this like fictional city, blasting like the Chronic. You know, it was like a pretty cool experience, and it just kind of like really warmed me up to the idea. I grew up on classic rock, so like shifting there was like not necessarily something that my parents were like totally down. They're like, what is this like rap music? And I don't know, I just really liked it. It was really cool. What cemented it, I think, more than anything would be the volunteer work that I've done. Actually, I live outside of Trenton, New Jersey, and I worked at a soup kitchen where there were there's basically like an arts program there. There were a bunch of poets and musicians involved that I basically helped instruct and just kind of hung out with them, and I was there every week, and seeing them express themselves via hip hop and poetry was really resonant, and it was very powerful for them, and you know, watching that really cemented that for me. And then I started working at the New York Poets Cafe as soon as I got to school here at NYU, and they have an open mic Monday every week that I just actually had to quit because of my schedule being too erratic with school, but I plan on going back because it's been an absolute blast, and it's just a huge family, and it's very hip-hop centric, and it's, you know, again, it's just about expression, and it's just fantastic to see how much, you know, emotional healing it can bring, and just it's just a really awesome community strengthener, I really think. At this point, I've had a couple lucky breaks because what I do is instrumental, so it's pretty readily like syncable with visual media, and BuzzFeed actually picked up like tons of my music and started using them in their videos, which have a reach of like, it's like a stupid number of people like see them. So they're putting them in their videos, and they didn't even let me know at first. So all of a sudden I like see my SoundCloud traffic spiking, like totally out of the blue, and I'm like, all right, I guess someone really likes my music now. And after like a couple days of intense Googling, I finally figured out that BuzzFeed had started using my songs in their videos. And I mean, they're getting like anywhere from like, you know, a couple 100,000 to like 10 million views, and it's just like, I mean, it's just, that was like a huge up, and I think everything has kind of, from that point, just kind of snowballed into this effect of like, you know, I have a bigger reach, and then I'm able to reach more people when I put out a song, and then they tell more people about it. You know how it goes. It's just word of mouth really is kind of how I've, since that BuzzFeed break, I literally could not thank my family enough. And I should probably tell them more often how awesome they are. But yeah, they're, you know, they basically always told me like, follow your dreams, you know, do what you want to do. And I think at this point, I've like, you know, confirmed that their decision to allow me to come to school at NYU and to study this and get a degree in production was hopefully a good one, because I don't know, I feel like I've improved a lot, just, you know, as a person, as a producer, musically, just I think about everything differently, and I think I owe this experience that sort of paradigm shift. But yeah, they've been the best. Beyond just the name, musically figuring out how to represent myself is like, every day I'm listening to someone new and something different is affecting me. Like I'll be really into like Radiohead for a while, and then I'll get really into Flying Lotus, and then I'll get really into Little Dragon. Like I've been listening to a lot of Little Dragon recently, and just everything is an influence, and I like sit down every night at my computer, start, you know, plugging away at something, and I'm like, all right, this is definitely, I'm channeling this group or this producer right now, but I know next week I'm going to be like doing something totally different. So how do I create something comprehensive, cohesive, and that still represents like, you know, what I want to say? Given my schooling and my like immersion in music, I've kind of developed a different way of approaching, you know, artistry and just intention and all that sort of stuff. Like what goes into like, expelling something that you're proud of, that you're, considering your own art. Everywhere. I'm like, graphic design. I'm always just kind of looking at stuff and thinking like, what's behind that? There's nothing quite like the specific brand of like passion that I feel, when I'm in the thick of this, and, when I'm grinding, and success always feels good. Relative successes it's just that specific type that just like hits my validation center. It's just like, this is the best. But overall, honestly, I just want people to be able to appreciate, what I've done, not like selfishly, because I recognize that there's going to be plenty of people who don't like it, and, it's not for them. If I can communicate, some sort of like sonic summary of my like time here and my experiences, and if I can encapsulate like who I am in music and have people interpret that however they're going to, for years to come, that would be awesome. And if nothing else, I just want to, like make my future kids happy or something, just like simple enough.